Mate, all really interesting.
Yeah,
it was really cool.
Sounds it, dude. How was the Leger experience as well with the mud and the...
Yeah, cool. Well, we obviously had like this. It was cool because it was just not what I would usually do. Normally I go to a World Cup race, hang out with my friends and fiddle around, whatever. This was like scheduled. So we had all these like different things that we would like, activities and activations that we were doing with Motul. And one of them was to go to this BMC cross-country pits.
Okay.
And learn about their bikes.
Okay.
And I found this really interesting. I feel like the listeners will as well.
Please.
So I was looking at the race bikes for the
BMC cross-country team.
World Cup cross-country team, yeah.
Right.
Now, the droppers, they looked like they were just stanchions going into the frame, and they indeed were. And then I noticed like a little Schrader valve on the down tube. So basically, the dropper post on one of these cross-country bikes, it's when you press the lever, instead of it, you don't have, it just goes down. So you press the lever, it goes down.
As opposed to having to put pressure on and sit down and push.
So you can stand up, press the lever, and it goes down. And I was like, oh, I guess it's cool. I don't know. It's not something that I've ever really thought about.
No.
And I think about bikes a lot.
Yeah,
and I ride bikes a lot. So, it's kind of, we spend a lot of time thinking about them. I sort of also think about products quite a bit and like trying to think of the next thing.
New things, yeah.
Yeah. So I was like, all right, why is that then? So it had a air bladder in the down tube, which was, I think it said it was 14 bar that you recharge.
Okay.
You press the lever, the seat goes down. You press it again, and it's just got a mechanical spring, and the seat goes back up.
Okay, to the same position.
Yeah, up, down, up, down, up, down.
Yeah.
And I actually, maybe I was having a funny moment, but I couldn't honestly see why. So I asked the question to the mechanic, and he was like, well, in every World Cup cross-country race, the biggest squat you're ever going to do is when you put the dropper down. So that's 80 bodyweight squats that they save every single race.
80 squats?
80 bodyweight squats.
So they reckon they go up and down 80 times?
Yeah.
Wow.
How mad is that? And then
That
you think
mad.
about being on the start line for a World Cup cross-country and then...
Quite a unique discipline for a dropper post, isn't it, as well? I'm trying to think. Obviously, downhill, don't need it. Enduro, don't really need it because you only go up to climb.
Yeah, you can
then
chill
you
on the way up.
Yeah, and you might mid-run.
Every now and then they have, but
Enduro XC is very, you're up and down.
And the lockout as well.
80 bodyweight squats.
That is mad, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, and it was lighter than any dropper on the market. I just like
anyone else using it?
I don't know.
Okay,
I don't know.
You
It was
got
the first
close
time
to those.
It was
BMCs.
just the first time I even learnt about it as well, and I just thought that was very interesting. But they descend now, the cross-country riders. We watch trackside, and you watch, that they really hit the turns and go fast. It looks horrific racing that. It looks really horrific.
Really?
You see the pain on people's faces. We were trackside, and you just see like how many watts they're putting down for such a long period of time, and they're bar to bar.
So probably that 80 squats is a saving.
100%. Because also,
I was hard to think. Like, is it actually? I've never thought. Oh yeah, my legs hurt because I've gone up and down on the dropper too much. But I don't do that type of riding. So
loads of stupid, annoying questions.
No doubt.
And I always find it funny. Tour riders, cross country riders. You watch them and they get to the end of the race and you see how quickly they turn their data off on the bars. And I just thought, surely you just why do you need the cycle computer? You don't need to log into your social media, your Strava or whatever. What are we doing? And the guy was like, oh no, well that's literally how everyone races. Like, it's got to a point now where everyone knows what watts they can sustain for how long, and everyone knows like,
wow.
So they actually really race to this computer basically. So the computer,
and I guess if you rewind that backwards, it's the amount of food you've put in, the calories you've had. Yeah. Because it's okay, you can do those certain watts, but if you're 500 calories down before the race, you probably can't, can you? So
I mean, they're at their race weight and they're at everything's calculated, isn't it? But like, just to know that for 45 minutes you can sustain X amount of watts, and then you have to do that plus a little bit. We had an interesting conversation because I was still like, I accept that's the way they do it and they know what they're doing and they're the best. But I always think that, like, in competition settings, there's that extra little bit, or
yeah,
you know what you can do in practice setting. I guess they just make the practice and competition closer and closer as they get it, so it's really pretty much like they're good at pretending they're in competition and knowing exactly what numbers they can do and when they're on form, when they're not on form.
Yeah,
mate. Yeah, it was really cool.
Yeah.
So I had that aspect
you
of it.
Like
and then,
data, don't you, as well? You are quite numbersy, aren't you?
Yeah, well, I just train on a watt bike, so it's like,
exactly.
as soon as you do it,
you actually understand it.
Yeah. Well, it really makes it more impressive when you see how much people can do, and you know how much pain it causes to do X number of watts for this amount of time.
Yeah.
And then you see what they do in race setting. It makes, because otherwise, let's say tour riders, they kind of look like quite unimpressive athletes. I've grown up following a sport where all of the athletes are like crazy impressive basketball. And then you see a tour rider and it just looks like a very
skinny
small,
person.
Like librarian, skinny. You know what I mean? They don't look like typical athletes, but they are.
Right.
It is shocking the numbers they can do at the weight they're at. It is like shocking.
Okay.
Absolute like animals. They're at their right. They're at their limit of like what you can sustain. It's pretty cool. It gives you another like appreciation for it. I tell you what else did, but I might. No, I'm going to tell you how hard I got on the Ronan Dunn hype train after the break. Okay. Hey man, what an episode that was. You did amazing in it.
And so did you.
You shone like a star.
You shone like a moon.
Can we also put something up here that you can click on for the next episode?
How about we put a subscribe up there in the middle?
Yeah,
We're going to put a video we think that our lovely companionship will love on your face.
On my face?
Yeah.
And so they can't see me now?
Gone. And on my face, another video that we think people will love. And thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Please hit like and subscribe. You guys are the best.
Peace and love.